Hi, everybody. Welcome back to SecurityGuideTV.com. This is episode 1676 with my next guest, Mr. Kurtis Minder. He's with GroupSense.io. Mr. Kurtis, welcome back.
Hey, thanks, Chuck. Appreciate it.
Always good to see you. Wish I saw you in person again this year, but hey, here we are virtual. It's all working out. We're going to talk about three things with you today. The first of which is data versus intelligence. So in cybersecurity, a lot of people use that term data and intelligence interchangeably. But it really isn't interchangeable, is it? What's broken about that?
Well, that's why we chose to call ourselves a cyber reconnaissance company deliberately, because we didn't want to, fall into the bucket of a traditional intelligence provider. First and foremost, intelligence as a cyber discipline has evolved over the years, and depending on who you're talking to, they may have a different impression of what that is. So, for example, the very early versions of cyber intelligence were sort of mechanical in nature. There's basically IP addresses and bad URLs, bad actors, things like that can be fed mechanically into systems. And so what cyber intelligence is today has evolved quite a bit and is quite different, where it's very either industry specific, customer specific, or even use case or sort of business objective specific, which is why we use the word reconnaissance. Many of the providers that are out there today are either providing data, which is similar to what I mentioned in the beginning, which is just mechanical feeds of information of known bad. The problem with that is it's known bad for everything, and that might not necessarily apply to your enterprise, right? And it could be useless information for that matter. The other providers, a lot of the other providers are providing what we consider information, which is kind of the step between data and intelligence, right? So information is, we've taken that data and we've enriched it in some way to make it more contextual for the enterprise. But it's not yet intelligence. The next step is when you take that enriched data and you build context around it that is specific to the customer use case. So two examples of the two extremes would be something like bad IP address that you would put on your firewall to block an incoming piece of traffic because the threat intel feed tells you it's bad. The farther into the spectrum, the intelligence spectrum, would be monitoring underground forums in China for intellectual property loss for your business risk objectives, right? So there's a far difference between traditional data feeds from an intelligence perspective and what we're delivering today.
Well, I remember speaking to you at Black Hat, I think it was last year, and the thing that impressed me was it's all about the context, isn't it? You can have all kinds of data, but it's not usable or actionable unless you have a context for it.
Right. And my CMO has this saying, I don't know if he stole it from someone, but I'm going to give him credit because I don't know. But he says, I only care about the bear that's chasing me, right? Like I'm afraid of bears, but I only care about the bear that's chasing me. And if you think about the resources that an enterprise has, they're very limited. We've got a cybersecurity talent deficit to begin with. Intelligence as a subset is even worse. Finding people who are capable in that space. So the intelligence that we're delivering as part of our service has to be immediately consumable and operationalized inside an organization without too much extra work. So if you're feeding them a lot of data and they got to find the needle in the haystack, it just doesn't scale for most enterprises, even large enterprises.